नमस्कार, मैं अमिताभ बच्चन नहीं बोल रहा हूँ. ऑफ कोर्स यू आर ट्यून्ड इनटू नान करी पॉडकास्ट, सो यू नो मैं सदफ बोल रहा हूँ. और आज नान करी पॉडकास्ट में वासुदेव कुटुंबकम होने वाला है. दैट बेसिकली मीन्स कि हमारे पास है गेस्ट. और गेस्ट कौन है ये थोड़ा देर बाद. लेकिन आज नान करी पॉडकास्ट जो है थोड़ा स्पेशल है. मेरे लिए नहीं, अर्चित के लिए नहीं, काफी सारे लोगों के लिए. क्योंकि नान करी नाले क्रिकेट, वो भी मक्खन और छक्का मार के. तो अर्चित कौन आ रहा है, थोड़ा जवाब देंगे.
So today we're joined by the host of one of my favorite podcasts, DJ. DJ is the host of the Edges and Sledges podcast. Edges and Sledges podcast is the number one cricket podcast in India and in a lot of other countries. Now DJ is a lawyer and also a club cricketer, if I'm not wrong, DJ.
I play a little bit of club cricket on the weekend.
Yeah, so absolute pleasure to have you on board today.
No, thanks for having me, man. I'm a big fan of your podcast. Congratulations on you guys being number one in food, man. Like, what a start. Hum to bade saal baad we came to number one. You guys have started off with the bang, so congratulations. Your podcast is awesome. I was just telling you guys that I was listening to your podcast while out on a run. It's not conducive to exercise, so don't listen to it in the gym. Don't listen to it on a run because you just feel hungry after the descriptions and the mental imagery. But I mean, amazing job, guys. Really pleased to be here.
Awesome.
Cheers.
Thank you.
That's success for us if you feel hungry after our podcast.
And I was also joking. Please listen to it in the gym and listen to it on a run. So please don't listen to me. I'm talking rubbish.
1 kg भागना, ये लाइफ का मोटो होना चाहिए.
Balance. बढ़िया.
Bilkul. Acha, before we start, I have to tell our listeners that when I was interested in starting this podcast, and मुझे कुछ पता नहीं था podcasting के बारे में, तो I actually visited the One Tip One Hand website. और वहाँ पे I think there's an article about how to start your own podcast. So I referred to that. You on Twitter and asking you some basic novice questions कि वो podcast कैसे start करते हैं, and you were kind enough to help, so thank you. And months later you're here on our podcast as our first guest, so it's only apt.
Absolute pleasure. And I mean, you guys have literally you've earned me street credit by doing this. Lots of my friends also listen to your podcast and they're like, oh man, this have you heard this food podcast on Ivy? And I'm like, yeah, I know those guys. And so my street credit is going up, man. So thank you for that.
Cheers. That's I mean, it's an honor to have you here, and we have a fun chat lined up today. हम काफी कुछ डिस्कस करेंगे. हम डिस्कस करेंगे क्रिकेटर्स क्या खाते हैं, 20-30 साल पहले क्रिकेटर्स क्या खाते थे और अब क्या खाते हैं, कैसे फूड्स एंडोर्स करते हैं क्रिकेटर्स, और क्रिकेट फैंस स्टेडियम में कैसा खाना खाते हैं, एंड अ लॉट मोर. सो Sadaf and DJ, Sadaf, as you know, I am a cricket fan as much as I am a fan of great food. So,
Of course.
आज आप ड्रीम 11 पर टीम बना लो, ये मैं कर लेता हूँ.
ठीक है, आप ये कह दो, मैं थोड़ा टीम बना के आता हूँ और कॉफी वॉफी पी के आता हूँ. Carry on, guys, carry on.
So the idea for this podcast was actually triggered by a food-related incident that happened with the Indian cricket team, who are in Australia at the moment. Now, this is also known as Bill Gates or the Hug Diya incident. And DJ, do you want to briefly tell our listeners about this food-related incident?
Actually, the Indian cricket team is touring Australia. Australia has very strict quarantine rules. They've been there. They've been in a bio bubble, so to speak, to prevent the spread of COVID-19. And what happened was, internet, Twitter pe, this fan called Navaldeep Singh has posted a video saying, BC mere samne Pant, Shubman, Rohit, Gill, and there are a couple of other cricketers. I think Shaw was there as well. And he says, oh, these guys are sitting in front of me and I've paid their bill, and Pant said, thank you very much. And he gave me a hug and said, Bhabhi ji ko thank you, and this and that. So fine. So initially it went down very well. It was like, look at these Indian cricket fans. They love cricket so much. And इसने इसका $118 का bill भी दे दिया. So a very, very good feeling generally. It then transpired that the hug, the Aussie media picked up the Rishabh Pant hug to the fan and said, this is a clear breach of the bio bubble. The protocol has been breached, all of this. Then the fan comes back and says, no, I got overexcited and I just made up the hug. Fine, whatever happens there. Then the point was, why were these cricketers sitting inside and eating? And that led to a whole drama about, you can only eat outside. Then the cricketers said that it was raining, so we brought our food inside. So it became a bit of a crazy drama situation. And then the interesting part was, from somewhere they got the photo of the full bill. And the order included beef. So people went mad again. Okay, how can the Indian cricketers eat beef? So that is the brief description of the incident. Now I'll hand back to you to go on.
Yeah. I was just thinking that people were really surprised that Rohit Sharma, who's from Mumbai, doesn't eat vada pav for lunch, dinner, breakfast. So maybe that's what pissed them off.
I mean, Rohit, I think, is a vegetarian, if I'm not wrong. I think Rohit may be vegetarian. So obviously he was eliminated from the prawn and beef drama. So that left some other suspects, quote unquote. So we will, I'm sure we will discuss more.
Yeah. So I think one issue was that people thought that Rohit also had something non-vegetarian, something like pork or prawn or beef. And even though he endorsed some animal rights campaign a couple of years back, so people were, I think, calling out his hypocrisy, but maybe he didn't have anything there. But, in case he did, let's assume he did, there is sort of an asymmetry, right? Or there is, I don't want to call it hypocrisy, but there is some hypocrisy, right? And it triggers an ethical debate about whether players should be publicly endorsing certain food practices or food brands. So we saw recently that Saurav Ganguly...
Interesting point. I mean, the first point is being disclosed to the rest of the world as to what they ate. I think that has its own issues that comes with it. I mean, these guys have just gone out to eat. Like you and I go out to eat tomorrow, and our bill is plastered all over the internet, and what we ate is, I mean, it's a bit random, right? I mean, it's an invasion of privacy, which is frankly quite unnecessary. Point about endorsing products, like, I mean, for all we know, the 2 Diet Cokes on that bill were Rohit Sharma's, right? There were 2 Diet Cokes on that bill. It may well be him. He's looking pretty slim actually after his quarantine. So he's done well, I have to say. He's looking much fitter than he did during the IPL. So good news for Indian cricket on that front. But what they eat, what they do publicly, I mean, it's our business after a certain point, man. I mean, it was an invasion of privacy. And I mean, you can be an animal rights activist. You can promote, you can say that, okay, you shouldn't be cruel to animals or use animal products and still be a non-vegetarian. I mean, there is an inherent tension with that. I agree. But it's like saying you won't wear leather, but you will eat non-vegetarian food. I mean, to the extent you can minimize stuff, there's no problem with that. I don't see the issue with minimizing the amount of non-vegetarian food you eat as well. For example, I'm a big, I really like non-vegetarian food, but I'm still come to, because I watched that Game Changers documentary, and it changed the way I view food. Right, I love a good biryani. I love a good butter chicken. I loved your kebab episode, but it makes you think of that sort of stuff. Makes you think of your food choices. Now, it's a very personal thing, and what you say in public is what exactly did Rohit say about animal cruelty? Did he say we should not be cruel to animals, which is a pretty like basic thing to say, right? Or did he talk about vegetarianism particularly?
That is a good question. I have to actually check that. But this is, I think it's a broader conversation, right? Not just about this incident. Say, for example, Saurav Ganguly, he used to endorse a certain kind of oil. And as soon as he got cardiac arrest, and I think now he's okay, and I'm glad he's okay, the company withdrew the ad from the campaign. And another example, Sachin, Dhoni, and Sehwag endorsing Boost. So they used to say Boost is the secret of my energy. It's something that we've heard growing up. First Sachin, then Sachin and Sehwag, then Dhoni. Now, Boost and other similar beverages, they are essentially sugary drinks. Now, if you read this memoir by John Gloucester, who's the Indian physio / medical expert, he says that cricket players are not encouraged to have sugar. It's an inflammatory substance. It would harm their on-field performance. Now, considering these three professionals are massively influential in India, do you think there is an ethical issue with them advertising sugary drinks and saying that this is sort of their secret of energy, even though I don't think they have it every day? So, I mean, ideally, we should ourselves be aware, buyers beware, right? But I mean, they are very influential, and India has a diabetes epidemic. So, a sports person saying this is the secret of my energy can actually influence people to take that drink, especially young people in India. Do you think we're reading too much into this, or it's actually an ethical issue?
So these guys, you have to also realize, have a limited shelf life, right? They have a short sporting career. They will try and maximize their opportunities. So I don't blame them for
Absolutely.
that.
Absolutely.
I think Kohli has actually taken a stand. He's not going to promote sugary drinks. I think he doesn't promote unhealthy food. Since we've been growing up, we've been seeing Kapil Dev started off boost to the secret of my energy, and then Sachin came and said our energy, right? So it was, I mean, you have to take these things a little bit with a pinch of salt. I mean, I don't know whether Sachin used Visa all those years. I don't know whether he drank Boost. I don't know whether I don't know, Amir Khan drinks Pepsi and then later drinks Coke. So I think you have to take these things. They are influential, but they're not in charge of people's health. Let's put it that way. That's the government's job, right?
True.
So I think for me it's buyer beware. And I mean, everybody likes to have a sugary drink from time to time. As long as it's in control, it's fine. I don't have an issue with Dhoni or who the other cricketers you mentioned, Sachin or Kapil.
Sehwag.
I mean, we don't know whether Kapil even used Palmolive, man. He kept saying Palmolive the jawab nahi, but we don't know. So I don't have an issue with that ethically. I know Kohli has actually taken a stand on that, saying I will not promote unhealthy food, but that's his general worldview in life. Okay, I want to be healthy, I want to be fit, I want to see this kind of food, eat this kind of food, I want to see everybody get healthy. So kudos to him on that, but can't blame the others for not going down that way. In my
Sure, very well put. And we'll come back to Kohli. I want to bring Sadaf in. Sadaf, as someone who produces a lot of food-related content on Instagram, on YouTube, what are your thoughts on endorsing or not endorsing certain food brands?
So I think it's really fascinating when DJ talked about it. It's maximizing basically on what we want to promote and what we don't want to promote, and it also happens to be like a personal choice, right? So Kapil saying, time come hai, फटाफट पैसे अंदर ले लो. So I mean, and you and I will both agree कि there's, I mean, we will and we agree as well that देखो पैसे तो है नहीं. Now जहाँ तक बात है on Instagram and these all these influencers or influencers, whatever you want to call them, there are so many of them. Also companies want to reach out to them. So I think what they are doing is, in a way, just taking money from big companies and letting the world know that this is, that they may or not be good. I personally have, like, I don't do a lot of endorsements because this is one issue that I have, that people will send me food and I tell them clearly that I will food if I like it, and it is very easy to convince me or persuade me that food is good because I generally like food. But in general as well, for example, anything like कुछ भांडे बर्तन है या फिर उस टाइप के कुछ सामान है, मसाले वसाले, so I'm happy to do it. But and I clearly tell them कि मैं इसलिए करूँगा ये because I have to somehow associate myself with your product. And I would again say I think it's a very personal preference for people. We shouldn't be calling out anyone as such, saying yeah तुमने तो बड़े लालची बन गया, तुम तो कुछ भी कर रहे हो. So Virat Kohli doing such an amazing job of saying I don't want to promote anything unhealthy, or even if, for example, Bollywood or not, I don't want to promote any fairness cream. I don't want to do it. But I want to do it. थोड़े 4 पैसे एक्स्ट्रा कमा ले तो किसको बुरा लगता है? थोड़ी 4 बिरयानी आ जाएगी उससे तो.
बर्तन के जो ब्रांड्स हैं आप सुन रहे हैं, हम we are open for sponsorship.
We are very
तो
open.
अब आप कढ़ाई बनाते हैं, प्रेशर कुकर बनाते हैं, तो हम बेचेंगे।
आण दो, सब ले आओ।
Yeah.
बाप का, दादा का, सबका बर्तन बेचेगा तेरा फैजू।
Fantastic. So let's move on to talk about the evolution of how cricketers actually eat. So in the past, it was not unheard for cricketers touring other countries to actually carry their own pressure cooker, their own equipment, their own ingredients, and cook in their hotel. Now, India was not as globalized as we are now, so our palates were not as comfortable with global cuisine. So people who were traveling with the team, including the cricket players, they used to miss their ghar ka khana. So an Indian cricketer, actually Sandeep Patil, he used to cook khichdis and biryanis on tours, and even journalists were known for cooking for players. Players even used to find friends in other countries where they used to visit, and ghar ka khana wahan pe jaake kha lete the. So people were not on very strict diets per se. But now the times are different. Cricket has become ultra professionalized. Almost every player hires a nutritionist. And these nutritionists actually send diet cards and recipes to chefs of the hotels in which these players are living in. And of course, players have cheat days, but they follow these diets very strictly. So, DJ, what do you think about this evolution of cricket and also cricket diets from that time to now?
So very, very interesting topic. So when you said we're going to talk about this, I started looking into this, right? And one of the first things I remembered was, and we were talking about sugary drinks. There's a documentary from 1999, as recent, well, it's 20 years ago. My mind is still recent. But Wasim Akram is sitting there in the dressing room, and he's actually drinking a real Pepsi, like at lunch time. India is 83 for 5 in the lunch break in the last innings in Chennai, and ये बंदा चेन्नई में बैठा है with his shirt off, and वो Pepsi पी रहा है, literally Pepsi पी रहा है, and I can't imagine that happening now. And there's like, of course, it's a Pakistani team, so you've got like biryani, and you've got proper food laid out for these guys to eat. It's like, I think Kapil once said that in the early days it was like going to a shadi, like you had a buffet laid out and there was all this food lying there and you could just go and eat whatever you wanted. And I find that absolutely fascinating, right? And so all of that has changed now, because I think you don't firstly see cricketers look like they used to a little while ago. I mean, like Mike Gatting is famous for eating pork pies. Shane Warne carried quite a lot of excess baggage around his waist for majority of his career. Liz Hurley later came and sorted him out and made him go on a diet and all. But he used to carry, like you saying, we used to carry pressure cookers when we used to go abroad. Shane Warne used to carry baked beans when he used to come to India, man, because of Delhi Belly and all of that, right? So, I think he famously carried a whole suitcase full of just baked beans, which just sounds like such a sad existence in like the late 90s. But all of that has changed. And now what we are seeing is obviously cricketers who aren't looking the way they should look are paying the price for it. And the person that I can think of is Sarfaraz Khan. Very talented cricketer, star at the under 19 level. RCB actually retained him in one of the auctions along with Kohli and I think De Villiers. They were the 3 retentions. But Kohli comes out publicly and says he needs to get fitter. And I mean, he hasn't really played. He's moved on to the Kings 11 Punjab since then because he doesn't fulfill the criteria that people look at. So diets have completely changed. Sachin said that when he started touring, he went to Pakistan in 88 or 89, whenever he made his debut. Apparently he went there and the food was so good. He would eat like parathas in the morning and like then they would have full blown proper dinner at night and stuff. He came back after. I mean, nobody really talks about it, but like Sachin through his career, his shirts got baggy in the middle for quite a while. Like he used to have quite like baggy shirts to kind of, because he was carrying a few excess pounds. Later when fitness came in, we had better trainers and more emphasis. Ironically brought on, I think, maybe by Greg Chappell and Rahul Dravid during the Ganguly fiasco, because Ganguly wasn't meeting the criteria either. But yeah, all that is now gone out of the window. cricketers need to look at what they eat, which is why the bill was quite surprising to see, because that looked like the kind of thing I would go out and order, like prawn dumpling and like sausage fried rice, and I would have even left the diet cokes out. I mean, that's like pointless, but yeah. So definitely everything has changed. Nutrition is a huge aspect of all of this, and cricketers are a commodity. Again, they are looking to maximize their earning potential within the 10 years that they are working as cricketers and sports people. And if Kohli has to give up butter chicken for 4 years or 5 years, man, kudos to him, dude. He hasn't that Gaurav Kapoor episode. He said he hasn't eaten butter chicken for 4 years. That man has my respect just for that.
Yeah.
If you've eaten butter chicken, tasted the thing, and then quit butter chicken, that's harder than quitting smoking or coffee. So, hats off.
That's very well put. Yeah, Sadaf.
If you listen to Archit's butter chicken poem, you might just quit eating butter chicken as well. Just saying.
Episode.
So I'm just saying, I think Virat Kohli must have heard his butter chicken poetry and like, भाई साहब ये अब ना हो पाएगा, ये तो स्यापा, ये तो मतलब, sorry, हाँ,
उसकी अलग feelings. Sorry, go on.
ये तो स्यापा हो गया भाई, मतलब इतनी छोटी सी बात पे आपने मतलब रायता फैला दिया, आप तो खाना ही नहीं है. तो I think that's why Virat Kohli quit butter chicken. Archit, you're the one to be blamed.
Yeah, I mean, then I can take credit for his hundreds as well. And वो थोड़ी sexual हो गई थी poem. I do understand, but then we have to give credit to Virat Kohli because he's having a child as well. So if you can do 2 + 2, then you know what I'm
You're
saying.
taking credit for the Virishka child also. Very nice.
Yeah,
I know.
yeah.
Who are you? पूछता है भारत.
Sorry?
So, पूछता है भारत और ये दुनिया, कौन है आप?
The nation wants to know.
Virat Kohli se yaad aaya. I was listening to this podcast by Ryan Fernando, who is Virat Kohli's dietitian, nutritionist rather. So he is also the nutritionist for Shreyas Iyer and Shardul Thakur. Shardul Thakur as a nutritionist, you might not believe that, but he does. So he was saying that whenever he writes a diet for a player, every player negotiates कि बॉस थोड़ा ये रसमलाई डाल दो और थोड़े चिप्स डाल दो और या कुछ थोड़ी negotiations होती हैं, and then they come to a final nutrition list or diet list कि हम ये खा सकते हैं. The only person who doesn't negotiate at all, who just takes it at face value, is Virat Kohli, according to Ryan. Now, I don't know, perhaps he's Ryan's most powerful or most financially beneficial client, so perhaps he's saying that, but I do believe that, considering Virat Kohli's dedication towards his game.
It's
So
scary, man. It's scary. That guy, like, if I could have that much focus on my own career, मैं कहाँ पहुँच जाता भाई अब तक? Just to say with 10 साल और कुछ नहीं करूँगा.
Yeah.
I won't do anything else for the next 10. That's basically the decision he took. Like in 2014 or so, he said, I'm going to stop eating junk. I'm going to stop doing. I'm going to start going to the gym, and he's basically transformed himself. He was a great cricketer till then, but he's become an all-time great after that. Like there is no doubt, he is one of the all-time Indian cricketers, great Indian cricketers, and it's because of his single-minded dedication and the level to deprive yourself of the pleasure of food. Yeah, we're on a food podcast. We're talking about diet. This is the level.
Yeah.
This is the level that we've got to.
Yeah.
ये बंदा बोलता है कि मैं कभी-कभी रात को I used to eat the चद्दर. मुझे इतनी भूख लगती थी. Now every time I think like, okay man, I should lose some weight. थोड़ा दौड़ता हूँ. So I would rather run more than eat less.
Yeah.
But this guy, he figured out. They say 90% of your abs are made in the kitchen.
Yeah.
So he's figured that out. And अब देखो क्या.
Even when he has a burger, चाहे veg burger हो, he actually removes the bun. He just has the patty or the patty. That's all, and perhaps the cheese.
अरे, he talked about eating chole bhature recently. यार. He talked about eating chole bhature recently, and he then said he went to the gym after eating chole bhature. I was like, dude, just the burps would have killed you after that. What are you doing?
How did he
सुबह
not
चले जाओ फिर छोले खा के सो जाओ. Who does that? Yeah. Who eats chola? I can't even. It makes me like, oh, it just makes me feel so sick. The idea of eating chola bhatura and then going to the gym.
ये कैसे पंजाबी फैमिली है? मतलब वो कोहली साहब थोड़ा छोला भटूरा हो जाए, कैसे पंजाबी लोग है कि मतलब ऐसे छोले भटूरे तो बटर चिकन नहीं खा रहे? क्या है अभी?
I mean, maybe he'll start again. We don't know after he's done with cricket. Acha, we have to address the elephant in the room when it comes to Virat Kohli. And DJ, you did mention it briefly.
अच्छा, एक काम करते हैं कि मैं कोहली साहब के लिए थोड़ा बटर चिकन और छोले भटूरे ऑर्डर करके आता हूँ, अपने दिल्ली में ही रहते हैं, तब तक आप ब्रेक लें, कॉफ़ी चाय जिसको जो पीना है पी लें, और डीजे साहब वो कबाब का एपिसोड तब तक आप पूरा करिए। मिलते हैं ब्रेक के बाद।
थोड़ा कॉफी ले लेता हूँ। I finished my coffee.
यस प्लीज,
एक
इसीलिए थोड़े
Sure. कोहली मुंबई में रहता है अब तो।
अरे कोई बात नहीं, अपना ही लड़का है। अपना ही अरे जौहरी का लड़का है। शादी हो गई तो मतलब क्या दिल्ली चला जाएगा? है तो दिल्ली
अरे।
वाला, मुंबई चलेगा।
हाँ, बीवी बॉम्बे में, बीवी का धंधा बॉम्बे में।
बीवी का धंधा बॉम्बे में? बीवी तो आजकल मतलब चिल करती है। बीवी मूवीज प्रोड्यूस करती है अच्छी। Anushka Sharma has produced better pictures and TV series than she's ever acted.
So, Archit,
पता लो।
you'll be taking that part again now, right? The elephant in the room part.
Yes, correct.
Yeah.
Are you asking me धोनी question?
नहीं, धोनी क्वेश्चन में थोड़ी देर में आऊंगा मैं।
मतलब जैसे जनरल नॉलेज के लिए पूछना चाह रहा था।
अभी मेरे को डिस्कस करना है वीगनिज्म, तो आई विल आस्क यू अबाउट वीगनिज्म।
मुझे कुछ नहीं veganism।
तो बोलना नहीं करो, मत करो, रहने दो।
मत करो, मैं लिख के दे रहा हूँ, कुछ नहीं होएगा।
मतलब दिस इज द ड्रीम ना, खाने के बारे में बात करना, क्रिकेट के बारे में बात करना, सही है यार।
है ना? You should also ask like maybe ask him when did and how did it sort of start to change? Because when I remember when I was watching cricket as a kid, of course they were all paunch, right? But I remember watching Australian team who always fit tattoo करा के आए थे, और हमारे वाले ऐसे धपड़ भागते थे।
उसने कहा ना ग्रेग चैपल जब आया था तब चेंज हो गया थोड़ा सा।
हाँ, but I mean is it big, of course Australian influence या फिर Australian influence? और क्या फिट फटांग होने के लिए वीगन बनना पड़ जरूरी है क्या?
नहीं, ऐसा कुछ नहीं।
उसने वो भी बोला है, वो वाकिन फिनिक्स,
वो भी वीगन है।
बिल्कुल, तो हार्डकोर वीगन है। उसने तो ऑस्कर पे आके बोला है कि बेटा वीगन बन जाओ।
वो सो मच वर्च्यू सिग्नल।
वाकिन फिनिक्स ने आके बोला देखो, जोकर गिरी अपनी जगह पे, लेकिन वीगन बनो।
जोकर गिरी।
हाय दे हाय। मेरे पास एक बुक है, जब तक डीजे आ गए। इट्स कॉल्ड सिली पोएम्स।
सुनाइए।
पेज नंबर बोलिए। बिटवीन 1 to
26।
ओके, 26 पे। बड़ा लंबा पोएम है। चलो यार पढ़ लेते हैं। ये पजल है, सॉरी कुछ और बोलो।
38।
38. Don't swear word. Fur balls, cat's bum, it's too wet. Cat's wee, rat's poo, bath time wet. पता नहीं क्या था।
क्या है ये?
कुछ तो था, बिल्कुल ही फनी नहीं था। ये फनी लग रहा है। Fred, शीर्षक है Fred.
हाँ।
A stupid young fellow called Fred went around with a cat on his head. I asked, why a cat? Do you wear as a hat? 'Cause a horse is too heavy, he said. Okay.
Cool.
Archit, वापस ब्रेक ले लो, मैंने ज़ोमैटो ऑर्डर कर दिया।
Hey, just 1 sec. My wife is also getting a cup of coffee, so the machine is still going. Grrr.
कोई नहीं।
So Sadaf, you're in Delhi.
I am in it.
ठंड कितनी है वहाँ पे आजकल?
काफी नहीं है, टांगे वांगे जम बेसिकली हमारे,
Very deadly.
बट अभी तो मच मेलोअर है एज कम्पेयर टू लास्ट वीक वाज किलिंग.
Yeah, my mom was
धूप
saying
नहीं
it's like
निकली है.
3 degrees and all. It's pretty cold. Which part of
रात
Delhi
को
are you in?
छतरपुर.
Chhatarpur. Acha, it's near my old school. My old school
Where,
guy. School.
where did you go to school?
Kunj, man.
बसंत कुंज. हाँ.
DPS or something?
DPS.
The one next
Vasant
to
Valley.
it. Huh.
Vasant Valley.
But I stayed with shame because I was a teacher's kid. That's the
Oh.
only reason I could go to that school. And
So back to the entry we'll get.
all the other kids were too. They were rich. When you saw Maruti in the parking lot, you're like, teacher ki gaadi hogi. So that was it.
हमारी एक टीचर थी रांची में. She was, I think, the only pretty teacher we had. She used to come in scooty. Imagine, like साड़ी पहन के स्कूटी चला गया थी. She was also married by
So
the.
मैं हूँ ना.
To full.
Literally.
Full Sushmita.
Full Sushmita. And so she used to teach us management, and then in the last semester she was teaching us CSR laws, and she would come and सुबह 6:30. Imagine ठंड हो चाहे गर्मी हो, actually ठंड में थी क्योंकि लास्ट सेमेस्टर था हमारा. तो she would come on a scooty, and क्लास का अटेंडेंस सबसे हाईएस्ट उस दिन पर. We all used to be there. उसके बाद आधे घंटे सो लेंगे, लेकिन 6:30 सब क्लास में रहना है.
AM.
Love the dedication.
Dedication, yeah. That's young.
और कुछ था ही नहीं ना, बाकी सब तो
Young blood.
जो काफी यंग ब्लड. तो सुबह जो हमारे एचओडी थे, हमारे मतलब धोनी और मेरे दोनों, उनके इतने बड़े बाहर तक दांत थे. तो ही वाज वेरी नॉट ग्रेट टू लुक एट.
Cool. Papa मैं?
अच्छा.
Cool. 3, 2, 1. So we're back. Now, DJ, you did mention Kohli's veganism earlier, and we have to talk about that. So, Ryan Fernando, again, who's Kohli's nutritionist, he mentioned that not every player has the genetic disposition to turn vegan. He tried it with Robin Uthappa, but it didn't work out with Robin Uthappa initially. But Kohli did it. And I think that's very interesting. And at the same time, the Game Changers documentary also came out, which sort of motivated a lot of sports persons to think about veganism. So what do you think about veganism, considering you are a sports person yourself?
Elite sports person, just to be clear. So I don't need and I don't need to build muscle or whatever for that. But I mean, the conventional theory has always been, and I think you mentioned it on your last podcast as well, from the ancient times. It's like if you want to put on muscle, you eat meat.
Yeah.
Right. And I mean, even if you're eating a salad, earlier people would put chicken in that salad. That whole Game Changers thing, and it really was eye-opening for me to watch that documentary. Maybe, okay, it's a lot of like propaganda, I'm guessing, and stuff.
Yeah.
And there was chatter around, okay, these guys own a vegan food company and that's why they produced it and blah, 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 whatever. Fine. But there is some science to it, I'm sure. And one of the things that people say it is like no one's actually ever died of having a vegan diet, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Although the contrary is true, like you could die of eating too much meat. You could get heart disease. You could get other issues with your health. But I think veganism it's probably got a little bit of a bad name because they're very extreme people who are extremely vegan. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
But as an idea, I wish I could be vegan almost. I wish I could give up. I love cheese. I love cake. I love like meat, though obviously.
Yeah.
So it's a nice idea. I would like to eat less meat because as you get older, I think it is better to probably eat less meat and probably eat meat as you enjoy. For me, it had become, and before that documentary, it had become just a default that you will eat some meat in every meal. And it's the easy availability of meat. As we've grown up as children, we probably did eat less meat because it was a big treat. Like for us, it was like maybe once a week or maybe even once in 2 weeks or once in a month even. But for Kohli to have gone on to veganism and the other people who've done it, like Lewis Hamilton is a vegan, an elite athlete, man, like playing at the top level. I know Serena Williams was vegan for a while after she had her issues as well. So there is some theory and science to being plant based. I think vegan is probably got a political connotation to it now, but having a plant based diet, I would love to do it. Kohli has managed it. I can't see any harm in it. Is how I would put it. I can't see any harm in it. Anyone with access to Western, like Western. When I say Western, I mean like modern food, is not going to be protein deficient. You have pulses, you have lentils, you have like eggs. Okay, eggs probably you can't eat because you're vegan, but you have other sources. You have soya, you have tofu, you have all sorts of stuff which can give you the protein that you need. So it'll be quite hard to be protein deficient, which takes away the main argument for eating meat. And for a long time, I mean, we talked about Javagal Srinath. He's South Indian, so he was vegetarian. He needs to eat chicken to become faster. That was the whole theory. And the poor man actually did eat it. But maybe he didn't need to, is the question, right?
Yeah. Sachin actually convinced even Sehwag to eat meat. Sehwag was initially a vegetarian, and Sachin said you should eat meat so that you can build on more muscle. And because I mentioned Sehwag, I have to mention the greatest line I've ever heard in cricket commentary. Now, Sehwag and Nehra ji, they were both Delhiites. They were on commentary and they were discussing their previous night's dinner. And suddenly the topic of mutton came up, and Sehwag goes like, जब रात को खाया हो मटन तो सुबह बंद नहीं होता शर्ट का बटन. On live commentary, he says this. I thought that was amazing.
Yeah, Sehwag is pretty insane. I didn't know he'd actually eaten meat. Actually, I always thought he was. I thought he was vegetarian through and through. But interesting that Sachin convinced them to change. Sachin's a big foodie, man. I was reading up on this guy. Apparently, that before that innings against Pakistan, we were talking about sugary food and all of this stuff. That innings against Pakistan in 2003 in the World Cup, where he scored 98 of 75 and won us that World Cup game in 2003. What he ate in the break was ice cream. Nothing else. He just ate ice cream. So, all this sugar being bad for you stuff, I don't know, man. Sachin has proved it wrong, clearly.
So, I mean, that's the only thing you need, right? If you want to score uppercuts against Wasim Akram and Shoaib Akhtar, just eat ice cream.
That and Boost, nah? Sachin was all...
That and Boost. Maybe it's Boost flavored ice cream, you don't know.
Yuck.
Yeah.
I've never had Boost, huh? I always had Complan. Complan and Milo. Milo in later years, but Boost, never.
Sadav, what are your thoughts on veganism?
Vegan से पहले I remember Boost used to come to our school free sample कि Boost पीजिए because सचिन पीते हैं, of course तुम भी पियो. लेकिन ओके पी लेंगे, फ्री में मिल रहा है, जैसे एक कप शॉर्ट टाइप से मिलता था हम लोग को आफ्टर द असेंबली. और फोटो खींचते. आई रिमेंबर एक रोज ट्रक जो आया था एंड उसके आसपास फिर माइलो भी आया था. अब तो इंडिया में माइलो मेरे ख्याल से बहुत कम हो गया है ब्रांडिंग. अब कॉम्प्लान ही मिलता है. इंडिया वाले खाली होते मेरा लड़का 10 फीट का अब चाहिए, भले ही पतला सुकलू सा रहे लेकिन लड़का 10 फीट का चाहिए. लड़का मतलब लड़की भी चाहिए. ऐसे नहीं मतलब लड़की लंबे लंबे चाहिए, बिल्कुल बिल्कुल नीचे जिराफ टाइप चाहिए, जमीन पे खड़ा होकर बिल्कुल सीलिंग की पप्पी लेने वाले. वीगनिज्म की जहां तक बात है ना, so I think partially I'll agree with DJ and partially I will not. Partially I'll agree because I think with the modern kind of food that we have, the deficit that the doctors have also talked about often, that vitamin B12 if I'm not wrong, and protein deficiency, right, in vegetarian food, plant-based and vegan, which is not necessarily which is not the same case in non-veg food. So that's one case that people talk about, and I think it's rightly pointed that it also has become a lot more political agenda now. To matlab, when I think political, just clarifying that it's not a current scene, but it's always been like it's a like a cool thing, right? That अच्छा सब लोग बड़े लोग fancy लोग vegan बन रहे तो हम भी vegan बन जाते हैं. Like Virat Kohli or Joaquin Phoenix or other people, right? So all these people are like, अच्छा, we are vegan, people should be vegan. So that's one, but also a lot of other politics are happening around the vegan kind of food. Deficit होता है अभी भी. So, but modern food में, because of course you have dal, you have different kinds of protein, you also have capsules to sort of make sure that you don't have those issues. Like for example, recently I had some knee issues, so I went to doctor and doctor said ki, and same with COVID as well, right? Vitamin D की कमी. So they were like, धूप पे चले जाओ. My knee had issue. He said, you need some vitamin D. I said, okay. And he prescribed, if you can't really go on chat, then here's the pills. So, of course, you have so many supplements these days to help you cope up, or to help you have those enough protein in your life. Lekin, having said that, is veganism possible as of now? I have my own doubts. I am hopeful that probably in the future, I personally have no problem with people eating what they want, vegan, non-veg, whatever. I always think one thing for sure: the reason we have 2 canine teeth because human beings are born non-vegetarian. तो इसीलिए ताकि मीट फाड़ सके या फिर कुछ भी जो टफ मटेरियल है फाड़ने के लिए. तो probably, and this may be a very tall claim, probably human beings have always been non-vegetarian. Now, because you're changing your preferences for whatever reason you're changing, and that's good, bad, ugly, I don't have anything on that. Bane vegan, koi problem nahi hai, but I like my meat.
So there's some very interesting science behind these canines you mentioned. Actually, apparently we don't have true canines. Well, like if you're in the wild, you're not going to be able to tear meat with our teeth. Like a tiger has true canines. Also, our digestive system apparently is super long. Like it's like, I think if you like lay out our intestine, it's something psychotic, like 30 kilometers long or something like that.
Yeah.
But that is not meant for food to like meat to go through, because the meat rots, right? If it goes through such a long process, so it's okay for plants to go through that. So I mean, there's a lot of science and theory and all of this behind it, but I totally agree. The B12 point is very, very right. It is, and that, I mean, you can have arguments on both sides of the science as well. Plus, there's this whole environmental aspect to it, like meat farming and like chicken farming is done in, and there's human rights and animal rights and all of that stuff. So it's a very complex kind of political issue, as you say now, Sadaf. So, I mean, I would like to try it. The point is, I just can't give up the things that I like, which is the pleasure of food, and that's not vegetarian. So maybe I'll do it for like a month or 2 months or something. I'll let you know how it goes. But I like the idea of it.
Sure. Sorry, pause. DJ, do you have 15 more minutes or so?
Yeah, man, I'm easy, bhai. I'm lockdown, man.
Achha,
I'm easy.
theek hai.
I've done my run. My 1 hour is over, so I can't go in.
Theek hai. I was checking because 8:30 tak plana tha, but
Nahin,
I have more things to talk about.
I'm easy.
Theek hai. Okay, great. Coming back, 3, 2, 1. So I have another interesting story about vegetarianism. So Ishant Sharma and Suresh Raina, they are vegetarians, or at least they were vegetarians in 2014. They played a test match at the GABA in Brisbane. Now, I think Ishant Sharma was in the playing 11, Suresh Raina was not. And the organizers knew they were vegetarians, but during lunch, there was nothing vegetarian for them. While Ishant Sharma was playing the match, they actually had to leave the stadium with Ravi Shastri, who was, I think, had some responsibility with the team back then. They had to leave the stadium during the match to get food. So, DJ, do you think we should also do the same when Steve Smith or David Warner, they come to, say, Chennai? We should give them idli and sambar only during lunch so that it affects their performance?
We'll be doing them a favor, man. Like, idli and sambar is much better than what they'd otherwise eat. But I mean, I find it very hard to believe that we didn't have a pappu that can go out and get these guys food, man, during the match. The Indian team didn't have enough people to just go out and just go to the corner shop and pick something up. Seriously? Cheese sandwich?
Yeah.
इनको क्या खाना था? That is the other question. इनको like shahi paneer and kadhai paneer and all खाना है, तो then okay, fine, that's a special thing. But interesting, you said Raina is vegetarian, because I read somewhere that Sachin made him eat sushi. Sachin seems to be a kida fellow in all of this, huh?
Yeah.
कुछ एजेंडा है बंदे का. रेस्टोरेंट तो ऑलरेडी है, so and Kohli has a vegetarian restaurant. Oh yeah.
Kohli has not 2 restaurants in Delhi.
One of them is not vegetarian. One of them is called Nueva, I think.
Nueva is
That's not vegetarian.
अच्छा.
It's a top-notch, really fancy ass restaurant in Delhi.
And it's very interesting that you bring that up. There's this obsession with cricketers for starting restaurants. I think Zahir Khan has one or had one. Saurav Ganguly started one. Kumar Sangakkara and
Ministry of
Mahela
Crab.
Jayawardene have started Ministry of Crab, which is one of the best restaurants in the world. So why do you think there is this obsession of starting restaurants? Is it just a glamorous business?
I guess they've eaten out so much during their careers, right? Like they know that this is something that, I mean, before COVID would be a business that would work, right? I don't know whether Sachin's actually took off, but I think that Dada has one and that does pretty well. Kohli's one does pretty well. Ministry of Crab. I've got conflicting reviews about Ministry of Crab. I think the one in Sri Lanka is very good, but the rest of the ones which are franchised aren't, from what I've heard. I don't know. Have you had the one in Bombay?
I went to the one in Sri Lanka. I didn't really enjoy it much, to be honest.
So I've heard some conflicting reviews on that. Who else has restaurants, man? Like, but it's again the maximizing their brand value, right? Like, I mean, some of these guys have opened restaurants. David Lloyd has opened a bunch of clubs because again, it's something that you would, I mean, before COVID again would be something that would work.
Yeah.
KP has a lodge in South Africa where he takes people to see game and stuff. So I guess they're just trying to maximize their brand value, man. So restaurant seems to be like an easy one to do. You don't have to actually do any of the work other than come cut the ribbon and make an occasional appearance and pose for some selfies. Again, all before COVID and the bio bubble and whatnot.
Yeah. DJ, I'm curious, what do you guys eat matches or after club cricket matches?
So this is a peculiar thing of playing cricket in England. So their tea break is super important. Over here. I mean, like people actually drink tea during the tea break because it's slightly chilly in the summer, right? Mostly.
Yeah.
But it's sandwiches, vegetarian and non-vegetarian. So like chutney sandwiches with or you'll have ham sandwiches, or you'll have like prawn and tuna and stuff. So sandwiches, cake, and scones, man. Like literally in the middle of a cricket match, you're eating scones with cream and jam, and that is literally the most fantastic thing you can eat, especially if you're an opening batsman. Sorry, Sadaf, you were saying?
I'm saying Virat Kohli just died listening to all these things.
That's why he didn't score runs in England when he was not vegan and all. Na?
Yeah.
He became vegan and he started scoring runs. But I mean, as an opening batsman, you're like, you have all of this sugar loaded stuff. You go out fully charged, and then you get your sugar crash, and you're like, now I want to go back. Ho gaya. So so that's kind of what I would say. That's pretty good. Some of the games I play also have a lunch as well as a tea break. Lunch is like, I don't know, you'd have like a roast chicken or like a halloumi cheese or something like that. It's nice, man. It's a fairly pleasant experience over here. I'm sure the Indian cricketers, when they come here, get it catered by like an Indian restaurant and stuff. So
Yeah. That reminds me, again, something I heard in Ryan Fernando's podcast. He was mentioning that cricketers, and you're talking about ultra professionalism coming up. He was saying that just like playing 11s are customized based on conditions, player diets are also actually customized based on playing conditions and also the match timing. So this is because the level of hydration and the type of nutrients a player needs varies with the time and the temperature in which they're playing. So, for example, an 8 p.m. IPL game in Dubai, a player will have to have a different meal before that, the same player, and he would have a completely different meal before a 4 p.m. Dharamshala game because of the difference in temperature, difference in humidity. So it's ultra customized. It's fascinating the amount of effort that goes into making or writing a cricket player's diet.
Yeah, and I mean, it's all changed, but I mean, imagine what Inzamam would have done with a nutritionist, man. He would have probably killed a nutritionist and stopped playing cricket, but that's a different matter. But Sachin did this years ago, I think 2011, where they were playing Australia in the quarterfinal in Ahmedabad, right, in the World Cup. And he basically said it was so hot. I just ate curd rice and like things that would cool my body because I knew that I wouldn't be able. Didn't want to eat spicy food basically for those 3 or 4 days. So I think like players kind of had an intuition as well on that sort of stuff. Yeah, But I mean, we've gone through an entire podcast without talking about Inzamam and Alu. Yeah. I mean, it's pretty intense. I mean, what? That guy was not actually that fat. This is the other thing that I find very funny. He was just a bad runner between wickets. He was a little bit overweight, but he's got such a bad name as being the fat cricketer. I find it such a odd thing for people to come up and say about him. He's all-time great for Pakistan cricket.
Yeah. You know,
Was he and Shane Warne not the same shape and not same shape, but same weight at least? Because Shane Warne also looked very chubby.
Yeah, so that's the famous sledge, right? That Shane Warne once told Daryl Cunningham saying, I've waited 2 years to bowl to you. And Daryl Cunningham, which is the South African batsman, says, looks like you spent it eating. There's also Ranatunga, right? And they were talking about so they were saying, let's get him out of his crease, and Ian Healy says, let's put a biscuit on a good length or something like that. So there's lots of these biscuit sledges now. We won't go into the non-family friendly ones, but Edo Brandes and Glenn McGrath one. But I mean, I think the shape of cricketers is generally changed, right? And it's the customization of diets, it's the careful tracking of the number of calories that go in and the calories they burn, and it's all become scientific and frankly a little bit too much, man. Let them enjoy.
That's very interesting that you say that. If you look back 15 years or even 20 years, there was great variation in how the players looked. Koi thoda mota tha, thoda lamba chauda tha. Now, I think if you look at the Indian team, generally all of them, because they're sort of following Kohli's vision for fitness, all of them sort of look lean, broad shoulders, and also very similar beard. So there's less variance in how players look now.
There are some chubby cheeks after quarantine.
Yeah.
There were some chubby cheeks. Rishabh Pant has actually become a lot broader. Now you can't work out whether he's put on weight or whether he's put on muscle and like weight.
Yeah.
But I think Matthew Wade was calling him again, like he was sledging him, saying it become overweight and stuff. I don't know, man. Like this obsession with weight is another thing that I don't get with cricketers. People like they go after Rohit Sharma as well, and it's just like, I mean, your primary skill is to bat and bowl and catch, hopefully. ठीक है, I mean, like you're not an athlete. You're a professional cricketer. You're not training to run 100 meters once every 4 years like Usain Bolt. वो भी, I don't know, Usain Bolt ate something insane before his 100-meter dash, like chicken nuggets or something.
Yeah.
And you watch like Phelps eat every day. He eats. Michael Phelps eats, I think, 10,000 calories a day, which is basically burgers and French fries.
Yeah. But DJ, just to play devil's advocate, say somebody like Rohit Sharma or even Rishabh Pant, if they were leaner, they had more muscle, wouldn't it help them, say, wouldn't it improve their concentration? Wouldn't it improve their flexibility, and all these things would help in their game after all?
So we've seen that happen with Ashwin, right? There was a point at which he lost a lot of weight, became like leaner, thinner, fitter, but he still got injured in the midst of series. And it's because if you're not a natural athlete, you're putting your body through too much, which it can't cope with, right? And I think Ashwin is cooled off a little bit on the training. He still looks like when he's running after the ball, he's like spot running basically, but he's realized my primary skill is to bowl. So I want to have my curd rice and sambar rice and idli sambar or whatever else I like, and I don't have to train like Kohli because I'm never going to reach his levels. I think at one point Ashwin thought by hard work I will be able to reach it, but if you're not naturally gifted as an athlete, you won't. So you just got to recognize your limitations as well, right? In some ways.
Yeah. A lot of people actually who do not like cricket, this is something negative that they say about cricket, that if you see football, if you see tennis, you cannot afford to be slightly chubby and still be an elite tennis player or an elite football player, but you can afford that in cricket.
True, because the skills are different, and cricket, compared to football, requires more brain, right? Like there's more skill it's not as physical, let's put it that way.
Yeah.
Because you can hit a fast bowler for 6 by timing the ball well instead of muscling it, right? So I'm guessing like the comparison is to something like baseball. Like if you look at the greatest baseballer of all time, Babe Ruth, he didn't look like a Roger Federer or a Rafa Nadal or a Ronaldo. He looked more like an Inzamam, right?
Yeah. Cool. So we've covered what cricketers eat. I also want to cover what cricket fans eat at stadiums or cricket memories of cricket fans while watching cricket. So I have one. While watching cricket, I think I was watching a test match at Firozshah Kotla. Yuvraj Singh was playing that match. This was during school. I can't even remember which year, but it was long back. Yuvraj Singh was playing. Ravichandran Ashwin was playing, and I remember that at that point of time we didn't have so many of these fast food chains inside the stadium. Now, if you go for an IPL match in India, there'll be tons of Domino's, McDonald's, Walls, all these guys putting up their stalls. But at that point of time, there was just one chana kulcha wala selling chana kulcha in. There's this matke wala chana hota hai. Matar kulcha.
Was it in a small like जैसे पानी पूरी इसमें खाते हैं, गोलगप्पा जिसमें खाते हैं,
पत्ते की प्लेट में.
प्लेट में, हाँ.
Yeah.
Because I've eaten plenty of chana kulcha from that guy while I used to play cricket, ironically, funnily enough, when I was much younger. So they used to set up outside the stadiums where we used to play in Gurgaon and Haryana. So I know exactly. वो निकालता है मटके से the chana, right, and he heats the kulcha on like a kerosene lamp next to it.
Absolutely. So that I thought is something which I don't think you can find now, but that's something that was very unique to Delhi and this region, Delhi and Haryana. So that you can't have this experience anywhere in the world. Another very interesting experience that I remember is whenever I go for an IPL match or whenever I go for any match to Firozshah Kotla, my favorite butter chicken restaurant is walking distance from there, which is the butter chicken at Moti Mahal in Dadaganj. So if it's an 8 p.m. IPL match, then you go have some butter chicken and then you enter the stadium. Or if it's a 4 p.m. match, then it's even better. You watch the match and 7:38, you just walk out of the stadium directly into the restaurant, order some butter chicken, and you're sorted.
Like the way you don't go for lunch and then go watch the match. क्योंकि नींद आती है उसके बाद.
Exactly. Smart. Khelo dimag.
The Dream 11 sponsor also.
Yeah. DJ, what are your favorite food items inside stadiums? You must have watched matches all over the world. Lords. I saw a picture on your Instagram where you were watching the World Cup match last year. What are some interesting things that you've eaten inside stadiums?
So England doesn't actually do stadium food very well. It leaves a lot to be desired. There's like fish and chips, there's sausage roll, there's like bad rice and curry. So like I think I would write any English stadium off on that list. India, I haven't actually watched that much cricket in India. I watched a couple of IPL games, some games at the Kotla, but that seems like a really long time ago. But again, Kotla, we used to go to watch test matches and we used to go to CP for lunch. So again, it wasn't something that you would eat in the stadium. But what I've heard, and like one of my friends went to Australia for the World Cup in 2015. And he wrote a guest post on our blog back then on One Tip One Hand. And he said that the MCG samosas are mad. Like they are amazing. So they had watched the quarterfinal at the MCG. And then the semi-final at the SCG. SCG is not so good. And then they went back to watch the final at the MCG again. And he was just like, India had been knocked out in the semi-final by Australia at Sydney. But they went back to watch the final between New Zealand and Australia just to eat the samosas. That's how good they were.
Damn.
So I think that's the hot tip on stadium food, Australia.
Very interesting. Sadaf, you're from Ranchi, which is the birthplace of Mahendra Singh Dhoni. And Mahimar. So have you ever watched a match there and क्या मिलता है वहाँ पे खाने में?
आई हैव सो रांची का जो पहला स्टेडियम था काफी दूर है। उस टाइम पे दूर था, आपका पता नहीं, अब इसलिए नहीं कि कोई अब थोड़ा ओला उबर ज़्यादा आ गया है। Interestingly, it's the same similar kind of food. Of course, we don't get chola kulcha in Ranchi, but we do have singhara, which is samosa. So वहाँ पे समोसे भी मिला करते थे स्टैंड में। इतना कुछ फैंसी खाना ही था, दैट्स द थिंग। ऐसा कुछ फैंसी खाना नहीं है। कई बार तो खाना अलाउड ही नहीं होता, तो आप अपने बाहर पॉपकॉर्न चिप्स मिलता था, वो खा के आते थे। मैक्सिमम टाइम तो मैंने अपने बैग में भर के पॉपकॉर्न चिप्स ही ले गया हूँ। और ऐसा कुछ अलग से कैंटीन करके वहाँ पे उस टाइम पे था। So that's an interesting, and of course the local ground of Mahi धोनी, जहाँ पे local ground मतलब ऐसे कोई भी खाली जमीन है जिसको ग्राउंड बोलते थे। तो वहाँ पर इनफैक्ट इफ यू हैव सीन द MS धोनी मूवी, उसमें भी एक जो ग्राउंड दिखाता है विच इज ऑल्सो इन रांची, वहाँ पर भी वही चिप्स कोल्ड ड्रिंक, मोस्टली पीपल आर सिटिंग आउटसाइड एंड जस्ट एंजॉइंग चिप्स, मोस्टली चिप्स कोल्ड ड्रिंक। रांची का ऐसा कुछ नहीं है। ऑफ कोर्स इफ आई एम टॉक अबाउट रांची, तो आई cannot not talk about लिट्टी चोखा। So लिट्टी चोखा भी बाहर मिलता है, छोटा छोटा ठेला हुआ है, and then they are giving लिट्टी चोखा। So that has been most
Chokha, man, you need to educate me on this. Like हमारा चना कुलचा होता है. What is this?
similar। लिट्टी, have you had बाटी?
Yeah, in Rajasthani, na?
Yes, so Rajasthani bati. So it's a similar, same family, where you have the आटा का dough. उसके अंदर you have stuff with sattu.
Okay.
Now sattu is a very staple of Bihar, which is multiple grains. Mostly दाल होता है, लेकिन कुछ कुछ all grains भी आते हैं उसके अंदर, and mix it with masala, onion and everything, and then you stuff it in the bati, and then you bhuno it, and that's very very staple. Now that's litti. Chokha is essentially bharta, or fancy term could be baba ganoush.
Of what?
So it's a very
Of bangan.
बैंगन। सो बैंगन एंड आलू बोथ। मोस्टली बैंगन आलू का होता है, कुछ लोग टमाटर भी डालते हैं, कुछ लोग टमाटर की अलग से चटनी दे देंगे। दे गिव यू घी एज वेल, सो इट हैज टू बी घी लोडेड। सो दैट्स अ वेरी स्टेपल ऑफ बोथ बिहार एंड झारखंड, एंड आई हैव हैड ऑल दीज थिंग्स आउटसाइड द स्टेडियम्स और आउटसाइड द wherever they are playing sports.
I have to add one thing to the thing that I said about food in stadiums in England. So because the food is so bad, you have to compensate with beer and wine. So that's why, like, you see all these you can hear the Indian crowd get very loud. खाना तो मिलता ही नहीं उन्हें, तो वो पेट दारू से भर लेते हैं. So go and listen to the alcohol episode as well. India, you don't get in stadiums unless you're sitting in some posh box, super hospitality में somewhere. But here, तो Lords तो allows you to bring. They know that food is so bad. They're like, each person can bring one bottle of wine, and by like 11 o'clock, people have like opened the bottle of wine. By lunch, people are already flying because the wine is over. So anyway, but also, actually, I watch cricket in South Africa as well, and they do like barbecue food. It's pretty good. Actually, their food's pretty good.
Wow.
उनके पास जगह होती है, and like they're big on barbecue and braai and all of that. So their stadium.
I have seen
Beer. Sorry.
I have seen a bunch of matches. I've seen bunch of matches basically, and a lot of these matches are like जहाँ open होता है basically, and वहाँ पर I have seen people just barbecuing, grilling their food. Now I don't know, not I don't know, I don't remember anymore, of course, where these matches are played. It's probably because, as you mentioned, South Africa or Australia high on barbecue, so maybe I think it was there, just like people are sitting like a picnic,
South
right, in their
Africa,
shorts and bikini 2 pieces only, and then they are
This is
basically
South
grilling
Africa.
their.
I'd also thought I'll go and sit in the sun, but it's so hot, man. You can't sit there if you're like a brown person. You can't sit there for more than 5 minutes. You know that this is only a thing that these sunbathers do, who go back looking pink and red and all. At the end of the day, a person cannot sit in the hot sun for more than 5 minutes. We actually booked seats in that area. Never like, भाई बहुत गर्मी है, पीछे जाके we sat in the shade. We're like, no chance.
I once went to CCI, a Cricket Club of India in Bombay. This is inside the Brabant Stadium, where I
Very
don't think
posh.
national.
Nice.
Yeah, a friend of mine had a membership there, तो मैं वहाँ जाके it was a dinner party. So dinner party was sort of on the ground. It was on Longon के पास थी वो, and बाकी area उन्होंने बंद किया हुआ था. And of course the pitch was also shut because they wanted to protect the pitch. But after a few drinks, a couple of friends and we went outside that cordon of area, and I have never played elite cricket or even anything close to that, or never played at a stadium. So I was just curious, how does it feel to stand in the middle of the pitch and look charo taraf? So after a couple of drinks, we went there, and thankfully nobody caught us, and we came back unscathed. But that was also a very good memory of a cricket stadium where I was not, where some food and some alcohol was involved.
But you know how we started Edges and Sledges, right? Varun and I went to South Africa. We went to Cape Town, which is a very beautiful cricket ground. It's the Newlands cricket ground. It's got like Table Mountain in the background. It's a very it's a great ground. And this is the place where it was so hot. We went and sat, we went and sat in the shade after some time. Kohli scored 160 not out. This is the 2018 tour. Jan Feb 2018. Our podcast started in March, so I'll tell you how the thing moves. So in the innings break between innings, we were super pumped because obviously Kohli scored 160. You're having some nice khana and you're having a few drinks, and it's all good. They actually let the crowd onto the ground. They cordon off the pitch. Like nobody goes and steps on the pitch.
Yeah.
But fueled by that liquid courage, we go out onto the field, and we went live on Facebook. We used to write a blog, so the blog had a Facebook page, and it had like 90,000 likes or whatever, but we never did anything with it, man. We were just like, it would just lie there because writing a blog was quite hard for us. I mean, frankly, you have to do the research, you have to do the writing, and then the publication and promotion. But what we found was it was much easier interacting with people on Facebook Live. Mm-hmm. And that is where the idea for Edges and Sledges was born, because we had all these people writing in, we were showing them the ground and that we were standing there on the pitch, and it was insane. And so that's where Edges and Sledges was born. And 1 month later we had a podcast. The podcast also started as a Facebook Live show, ironically. And now we used to rip the audio. So if you hear the first few episodes, it's like, well, actually, sometimes I listen to the first few episodes, I'm like, this was something else. It's the audio quality is crackly. I'm like introducing myself as a blogger, and it's all great fun. Like it's moved on since then, but it's that is the genesis of the podcast. It's basically just it was great fun actually, like that trip to South Africa. But again. Few food and drink memory, just triggered by what you said.
Yeah, nobody starts a podcast after an orange juice.
That should be IVM's tagline.
Yeah.
Nobody starts a podcast after an orange juice. आजकल तो kombucha है यार. Kombucha is fine.
Kombucha is fine. Yeah.
Kombucha, we all love kombucha.
So Sadaf, you want to do the overrated, underrated part? Okay.
Yes. Do you want to take a break, or should we just go ahead?
We can go ahead. Yeah.
Okay. So we'll do the overrated, underrated, and favorite cricket food.
General food. General food. Cricket food क्या होता है?
Same flow, yeah.
But before this is our outro, DJ. Is there anything else you think we should discuss?
I don't know. What had I made notes on? Let me just check quickly.
Yeah.
ज़्यादा कुछ नहीं है. Shane on game changers. You've covered everything, boss. Actually, like cricket and food is very interesting because like mostly you talk about the pleasure of eating food. We are here only talking about nutrition and diet. It's so dry.
Yeah.
Damn.
अब आएगा moist kebab
Moist.
Alright, चले जी, ले लेते हैं तो वापस से 3, 2. ओके, तो जो 2 चीजें हैं फेवरेट दुनिया की, एक्चुअली इंडिया की तो है ही, हमारी भी है. पहला ऑफ कोर्स की क्रिकेट जो हमने बातें कर ली, और फूड ऑफ कोर्स. तो दोनों ही बातें हो रही हैं. अब जाते जाते वासुदेव कुटुंबकम का एक और डीजे, ये बताएं योर फेवरेट फूड
This is really hard, man. Like every time I think this is the question that stressed me out the most actually, because I knew the segment is going to come. So is your favorite food supposed to be like if you are on death row, what your last meal will be? Is it that kind of situation?
Never thought about that,
No,
but
but
yes.
you have
Let's
to
go
only
for that.
pick one thing because I have no qualifications like you guys on food, man. Like I only like eating food. So I'm just a foodie.
That's it. No, just a food, just like one dish. That this is what, not like this is what you have to eat whole life. It could also be like one
So
favorite
if
dish to
if
enter.
your last meal basically, if it were to be your last meal on earth, what would you eat?
Sure, yeah.
So if that is the criteria, then I would have to say it would be. There are too many things running through my mind right now. This is a problem. I know that it's between butter chicken, butter naan, Indo Chinese like chow mein with chili chicken, and galavati kebab with Romali roti. Those are the three options.
हम तीनों अलाउ कर देते हैं
So
चलिए कोई दिक्कत नहीं वो
These
तीनों
are
हमारे
favorites.
friend हैं.
So but it's like it's just that. So your Indo Chinese episode, I'm really waiting for at some point because I really miss that. I don't get it here. Yeah. Like तुम लोग यहाँ पे आके restaurant बनाओ अपना. Indo Chinese will rule the roost.
बस अभी सारांश गोयला गए हैं लंदन अभी यूके अपना बटर चिकन लेके पीछे पीछे हम भी आते हैं. What is your underrated?
Underrated matlab, okay, so underrated meaning, so I've recently discovered this thing called butter chicken wings. Again, it's butter chicken. And a restaurant here called Brigadier's does it. Right? It's a restaurant that opened recently, maybe 2 years ago in London. And Indian food in London has improved vastly from when like I got here in like 12, 13 years ago. So I'd say butter chicken wings are because they're kind of like a snack, but with butter chicken taste. So you can have them as a snack, but without going into it doesn't become too heavy. You see.
Yeah.
So I think for me that is the underrated version of butter chicken wings from Brigadier's in the city of London.
I don't think I've ever had butter chicken wings in India. Have you ever had, Archit?
It seems like something which should be more common, right? You fry wings and you make a butter chicken gravy, or you have a leftover butter chicken gravy. Just toss them together. Beautiful, man.
That's a challenge for
Yeah.
you. Go ahead and make it.
Maybe.
And one overrated.
Overrated meaning the Glenn Maxwell of food.
Glenn Maxwell of food is Brick Lane chicken tikka masala, man. Rubbish. It's just the worst. I mean, if anyone ever comes to London, please don't go anywhere close to Brick Lane. But there's a very interesting story behind that because for a long time that was what Indian food was. Like if people got drunk after work, they would want to have a curry. So they would go to Brick Lane in London. And it's basically run by Bangladeshi immigrants and tries to pass off as Indian food, but which is not a bad thing in itself. But it's a very interesting, I think, article by The Guardian on it, which says that it was the Bangladeshi men that came over first because Bangladeshi food itself is amazing. Right? But it's the Bangladeshi men that came over first who didn't know how to cook. So they just dunked stuff in like a gravy and called it Balti chicken. So this is called there's a thing called Balti chicken here. So I'd say the Balti cuisine, which includes chicken tikka masala from Brick Lane, is the most overrated thing. I was like starving for Indian food in my first week of London. So I went into a place where I think it was all you can eat for $6.99 or something. Even that, I was like, chalo bhai, let's go. And in India, you get those kind of deals. You're like, wow, enjoy. This was not pleasant. It was literally the worst thing I've ever eaten. I've never been back. And thankfully, the Indian food in London has improved greatly. So I also had to learn how to cook Indian food because of that. Because I like eating. I didn't like cooking, but I had to learn how to cook. So I think that would be the overrated version.
Usually, because you mentioned that you like cooking food, so usually we end our podcast with in-house tips. So I am the Khansama, so I give tips. Like because you mentioned about your love for food now, what would be one dish that you would like people to cook and your tip.
Ooh, man, this is pressure again.
Make this
You're the real chef, yeah. So my speciality, I would say, is biryani, and I make it
wow.
with the Sanjeev Kapoor recipe, which is easily available on the internet. Uh, the tip, I can give you a link to it. It's a fantastic recipe and it comes out really well. It's like goat biryani, but I have to first source the goat, which is frightfully expensive in London. For some odd reason, they like lamb, but they don't like goat. The tip on that is to get somebody else to cut all the onions for you. Because it's just like the number of, if you're cooking for like 12 people, the number of onions you have to cut, yeah, like it's, and so I get my wife who's sitting behind me and laughing to cut the onion. So, and tear the mint leaves, those are her two jobs, and make the saffron milk also. So get somebody else, get a sous chef for the non-khansama type of work.
I usually ask my mother for that. I mean, not for pyar, but I ask my mother if she's sitting vela. She's like, हाँ खाली बैठी हूँ. Like, एक काम करो mint छीलो.
बस माँ और बीवी एक सब करेंगे और कोई नहीं.
At the same time.
Yeah. I remember after our biryani episode, DJ, you sent me a picture of biryani cooked at your house.
That was actually a slow cooker biryani. That's another tip. अगर आपको you want to eat a healthy-ish version of biryani and without actually using your brain too much, slow cooker में डाल दो वो बन जाती है आराम से. But yeah.
दो चीजें हैं. Slow cooker वाले ये method लगाएं और otherwise mint I think does wonders to biryani.
And saffron milk also.
Yeah.
वो तो saffron. What a smell.
बिरयानी. Awesome. तो अच्छे साहब आपके कुछ लास्ट डाइंग वर्ड्स हैं.
मैं I was just wondering, और ये part मैं बोलना भूल गया. DJ is a huge Dhoni fan. I want to ask him this legend about Dhoni eating or drinking rather 8 liters of milk. Is that true or it's just a myth? Because I think I can think that the slip fielder would know, right? He could smell if Dhoni would have had 8 liters of milk.
I'm pretty sure, but Sadaf should tell us. Yeah, Sadaf, you went to college with Dhoni, na? So tell us, did Dhoni sit in your canteen and just drink liters and liters of milk?
So I'm sure, see, he's a desi boy. Okay, so I'm sure he must be drinking 8 liter दूध. So interestingly, he is my junior from college. I am not that old, just saying. Story is that when Dhoni became Dhoni, graduation करनी थी. So Xavier's then invited him. Ki, why don't you come to our college? Xavier's was my college. St. Xavier's College, Ranchi. So why don't you come here and then get your degree, basically. Now, my department, which was sales management, उसमें 5 अलग-अलग courses थे. One was mine, which was advertising and sales promotion. Second was insurance. Third was office management. All थे. उसमें से एक animation था, अब पांचवा पता नहीं कौन सा. तो अब ऑफिस मैनेजमेंट ही खाली था उस टाइम पर. तो धोनी को बीकॉम में स्पेस ही नहीं था. सो धोनी वाज लाइक ठीक है यार, विल डू ऑफिस मैनेजमेंट. सो ही इज अ ग्रेजुएट फ्रॉम सेंट जेवियर्स कॉलेज इन ऑफिस मैनेजमेंट. एंड आई रिमेंबर द ओनली टाइम व्हेन धोनी केम टू द कॉलेज, उस टाइम पर मतलब मीडिया और लड़कियों की बिल्कुल भरमार थी हमारे कॉलेज में. इतनी लड़कियां मैंने अपने कॉलेज में उसके पहले उसके बाद कभी नहीं देखी जो धोनी के लिए बिल्कुल पागल थी. ओह माय गॉड, धोनी इज कमिंग. तो एंड देन आई रिमेंबर फ्यू ऑफ द मीडिया दे वर लाइक, ओह हाउ आर यू गोइंग टू रैग धोनी. वो बड़ा इंटरेस्टिंग था कि आप धोनी आएंगे तो लाइक धोनी तुमको रैग करके निकल जाएगा, चलो. सो दैट्स हाउ ही इज माय जूनियर. अदरवाइज ही इज माय सीनियर. ही इज लाइक 30-40 समथिंग. मैं तो अभी जवान हूँ.
Couldn't work out how you were his senior, but great story, man. Great story.
On that
देसी होगा.
on that pal do pal ki shairi, let's end today's podcast.